want people to know that people like us are people, and also to just believe in yourself.
Now is her time. A paddleboarder is ready to compete as the Special Olympics USA Games come to town. A longtime Special Olympics athlete who now works for the city shares his secret for success.
Walk.
1, 2, 3, 4! It's intense, and the hits hurt. Wheelchair rugby sends athletes on a collision course during competition. These stories and more coming up next on CityStream. Hello, I'm Dennis Bounds, and welcome to CityStream from Husky Stadium. Before long, thousands of athletes, coaches, family members, and volunteers will gather here for the 2018 Special Olympics USA Games. The Games showcase the abilities of athletes with intellectual disabilities. It uses sports to push for social change and to create more inclusive communities. Some 3,000 athletes will compete in 14 sports, including paddleboarding. And that happens to be the specialty of 21-year-old Devin Adelman of Seattle. As Nicole Sanchez reports, Devin is making the most of a memorable year.
It's been a pretty incredible year so far for 21-year-old Devin Adelman. In January, Devin got her first job working for Belltown biotech company Universal Cells that creates stem cells. A first job is always a big deal. There's nothing like earning that first paycheck.
It felt amazing getting my first paycheck.
Devin has Down syndrome and was able to get the job through a sponsored employment program in King County called Partners for Work.
We found that it matched very well with our company culture of inclusion and diversity, and we were all very excited about it.
Claudia Mitchell, the COO and co-founder of Universal Cells, says Devin is doing a great job working as a lab assistant. She's helping with a wide variety of tasks. And since Devin loves science, this is a perfect company for her to be at.
Thank you.
And we're happy to have her being part of it, and we are very proud of being able to include her in the everyday work and have her be part of our team. It means a lot to everybody, I think.
We'll go home and I will get changed so that we can go out and do some paddle boarding.
That sounds perfect to me.
Sounds good. All right.
But out here on the water, on her paddleboard, is one of the big reasons why this is an especially great year for her.
Coming up is our big USA Games, and I'm super pumped for it.
Devin qualified for nationals in stand-up paddleboarding, and for the first time in her life will be competing at the Special Olympic USA Games, which will be held right here in Seattle in early July.
And that was amazing. I actually had tears of joy, so it was like a definitely big, shocking, big surprise.
The other team members and head coach live in Eastern Washington. Devin recently practiced with them in Cheney to get ready for the big event that's bringing thousands of athletes from all over the country to Seattle. Devin's mom, Sue, is the assistant coach of the team. This is a year she will never forget either.
All right, go chase the wind.
She says she is thrilled to see her daughter building confidence competing in the national games and also finding her independence in her job, something every parent of a special needs child can understand and appreciate.
It opens up lots of opportunities for what, her dad and I want to do. Instead of always being worried about what Devin might be doing in the future, she gets to have her own life.
Devin is becoming a bit of a celebrity. Her photo is at the UW's light rail station, the one she takes for work 5 days a week. She was even recently featured on ESPN.
Or are you playing in the USA games this summer?
Stand up paddleboarding.
Devin also recently graduated from the School to Work program, yet another milestone for her. Just a few weeks before graduation, Devin spoke at an Ability Summit at Microsoft, an event attended by Governor Jay Inslee and Seattle Mayor Jenny Durkin. She wanted to share her success story to encourage other people with different abilities to reach for their dreams too.
Employment gives people an identity, a purpose, and value regardless of your ability. I want people to know that people like us are people, and also to just believe in yourself, because anything is possible if you believe.
And her mother, Sue, hopes it will be more than just the athletes that will benefit from the games. She hopes the message of inclusion spreads throughout Seattle.
A larger part of me is just really excited to see if Seattle can rise with all of the athletes. They've been using that as their tagline, is to rise with us and to make Seattle a city of inclusion. And hopefully things will continue after the games.
Devin has been paddleboarding for only about 4 years. She is a multi-sport athlete who plays soccer with the UW Unified team. She also enjoys flag football, basketball, and skiing. Next on CityStream, meet a Special Olympics athlete whose co-workers give him a leg up on the competition. Welcome back to CityStream. We're at Husky Track, where all the track and field events will take place. Fred Olche has competed in Special Olympics for 30 years. He's won dozens of medals. 4 years ago, he got a job in the City of Seattle's vehicle maintenance warehouse. He worked hard. Bonds developed, and now his coworkers provide an incredible support system, rarely missing his competitions.
Look what the cat drug in.
Don't let the tone fool you. Fred Olche is a man who loves his job.
Show them how we do it. I want one good. A lot of jam up. One jam up.
That's Fred's signature move right there.
He's just like the rest of us. He'll come to work, gets his job done, laughs, has a good time doing it.
You need a hand?
Actually, I do. Oh, here we go. Mr. Coaster. He's hilarious. You could be having a bad day, and then Fred comes in, and you're having a good day now.
We just laugh all day. Yeah, let's rumble.
And for Fred, his good days include bling.
31 models.
Every Monday, you know, Kyle and I can tell when he done good in his events. He comes in with plenty medals.
Fred has been a Special Olympics competitor for decades, starting with volleyball, bowling, swimming, and now track. Chalk up another gold medal here for the 50-meter walk.
I'm gonna dominate. You know, that's his catch line.
I'm just competitive.
His favorite words is, I dominated.
You know, for the most part, he does.
When competing, he's no nonsense. The rest of the time, you never know.
How do you train for that? What do you do?
Walk. I'm just gonna dominate it.
Let's rumble, Fred.
Go.
And when he's challenged by his boss, Fred shows who's superior.
It's a joy working with him, and it's a joy just going to the meet, seeing him perform.
He will hound me every day, multiple times a day. You coming to my track meet? Coming to my track meet? Buddy, I'm always coming to your track meet. I haven't missed a single one.
It's not just to support, you know, special needs. It's to support an actual friend, and that's what Fred is to me.
We are here because of you.
Recently, Kyle, Daryl, and Fred attended a celebration of the city's nationally recognized supported employment program for workers with developmental disabilities. Fred is one of more than 100 city workers who was honored.
It was a long journey for me to get to this job.
I am independent.
I take pride in being a professional working woman.
I've enjoyed working here. I love it.
Fred was born in Pasco. At 2 years old, he mastered a tricycle. Several years later, a school picture revealed a sharp dresser. Next, the family moved to a farm in Lewis County. Hey, when you need 3 to jump rope, you do what you have to do.
You know, he still remembers all those times better than any of us. It was a lot of fun.
But life on the farm wasn't all fun and games.
Have to milk the cows, buck hay. It's hard work. It's really hard work.
Fred knows hard work. He swam for 28 years while competing in Special Olympics. That's him in the front row with goggles after winning a freestyle event.
On your mark! Got this, Dylan!
At the State Special Olympics Spring Games, Fred is focused on his specialty, the 50-meter speed walk. He has that look of determination. But it's not all about who crosses the finish line first.
It's sportsmanship like no other.
His co-workers say the connection they forged runs much deeper.
It's become a lot more than just a worker-employee relationship. Last week we had a big foam finger for Fred as he's running down the track, doing his thing, and it's great seeing him there, seeing him happy in his environment.
A good friend, like I'm saying, sometimes it chokes me up.
He's like family, so that's why we come to these events.
He loves working at the city. They are so good to him.
He's like my brother. I've got an actual brother, but Fred is like my brother.
Fred Olsen.
And while Fred adds another medal to his growing collection, he knows what's most precious.
The work. See you Monday.
Hi, Fred. I'll see you right now. Why didn't you see you Monday?
And Kyle and Daryl.
Bye.
And the crew.
Okay, bye.
Bye. This is the best job that I had.
Fred was not selected in the special drawing that determined which athletes in this state would take part in the USA Games, but he'll definitely be in the stands for the opening ceremonies. We'll be right back. And welcome back to CityStream. We're at the University of Washington Husky Stadium. Joining us, Beth Knox, President and CEO of Special Olympics USA Games. Thanks for being with us. Good to see you.
My pleasure.
This is a big deal. Run through some of the highlights, how many athletes, how many people overall, and where do they come from?
Well, it is a big deal for Seattle to host these national games for Special Olympics North America. And we are so excited to be welcoming 3,000 athletes from every state in the country and another 1,000 coaches who will be joining them. They've been training all year long for this national moment. So it's very exciting. They'll be bringing with them another 10,000 friends and family members who are going to cheer them on while they're at their competitions in various events throughout Seattle.
Opening ceremonies are July 1st. What can we expect to see on that day?
It's going to be a big deal. I tell you, we've got a really amazing lineup of performers. Ann Wilson, Alan Stone, and he'll be performing with a 2,000-person choir behind him. It's going to be spectacular. Our finale will be Charlie Puth. So lots of great elements in between, but of course one of the real highlights will also be the parade of athletes, when all of those athletes come out of the Husky football tunnel out onto the field and get to show the region here all that they have worked hard to do and how they've accomplished this great moment.
You've done well with the big stars, but the athletes, of course, are the stars of this show.
They are the stars.
The venues, where will the athletes be performing on the UW campus and elsewhere?
Right, so the competitions will, many of them will take place here on the UW campus. We have 14 different sports competitions. Half of them will be at these amazing facilities at the University of Washington. The other half will be throughout the region. We'll be down in Federal Way for the King County Aquatic Center for swimming and Celebration Park for softball, Kenmore Lanes for bowling. Redmond will host the Willows Run golf event. And then we also have competitions at Seattle University and SPU for gymnastics. So really spread out, lots of accessibility to attend and see the athletes compete.
The region gets to share. Tickets, how much?
It is free. That's the great thing. You know, it's a $20 ticket to come to opening ceremony, but all of the competitions, there's no cost. We want all of the residents here to show up, be out there to cheer on the athletes. You know, they have worked so hard and have accomplished so much. We want to be able to show our support and cheer them on.
What do you hope the takeaway will be for the athletes, for the family and friends, and for the good people of the area who come out to watch the events?
Well, for the athletes, this is an acknowledgement of their hard work. So many of them have been marginalized or discriminated against or told that they had limitations, and they have proven otherwise. And so the ability to show the nation what they have accomplished and what they can do here, that's a huge takeaway. For the rest of us, we get the privilege of witnessing that. And it's also part of being part of something bigger than ourselves. And we hope that we'll be setting an example for the rest of the country as to what a city of inclusion looks like. So that's what we'll be taking away.
Beth Knox, thanks for being with us. Let the games begin July 1st.
Looking forward to it.
Thank you.
Follow me. Go to work.
They're in wheelchairs. So what? These athletes play a punishing game where the collisions are real. That story is next.
I'm from Seattle, and hosting the USA Games, it's the greatest thing ever.
It's an honor having Seattle host the game for the first time.
It's going to feel like the actual Olympic Games. Crowded, crazy.
I feel great. You know, I waited for 25 years to have this here. It's huge for a lot of people.
The competition is really fun, and it's really cool to be out there for the crowd.
You want it so bad, and you work hard, it's going to pay off because you're in the gym day in and day out.
We work together, we train together, and we play together, and we work together as a team.
Being invited to the USA Games is great because you get to show the city, the nation, the world what you can do.
We're at the UW Intramural Field, site of the flag football competition for Special Olympics USA Games. This field could also host rugby. This next story is about a different kind of rugby, played with wheelchairs. The Seattle Slam is one tough team. They're strong, they're fast, and they hit hard enough to bend steel. Brian Callanan reports.
Yeah, the hits are a lot of fun.
Some of them hurt.
Yeah, it's full contact sports, so things happen. You know, you get smacked sometimes.
The team is the Seattle Slam.
1, 2, 3, slam!
And the game is wheelchair rugby.
Follow me. Let's go to work.
Using a standard basketball court with 4 players, male or female, on either side.
Wagner, I want you at 12.
The idea is to get across the end line carrying a volleyball. Hopefully, with most of your teeth.
We'll end up getting stress fractures on our rugby chairs, on the joints, just from the continual pounding.
It went pretty good. I got decked in the eye.
Sometimes you get hit and it's kind of like a gut punch.
I can feel it in my side sometimes. I don't have feeling, but some hits I've taken, I can feel them.
These athletes are quadriplegic, which might not mean what you think it means.
A quadriplegic is just somebody that's got impairment in all 4 limbs.
Players are classified according to the functional level of their limbs. 0.5 the lowest to 3.5 the highest. And you can't have more than 8 points on the court for a team at any time.
Now we're running 5.5 points against 8-point lineup, so that's not bad.
And the hits aren't just for fun. They're an important part of ball control and strategy.
Hands up on him. He's up. This game is really about forcing the other team to make mistakes.
All right, so the way wheelchair rugby works is this. You've got your low point guys out here. They're kind of like the offensive linemen on a football field. Then you've got your high point guys rolling through here to try to cross the goal line. Players say it's a lot like chess. There's just a lot more contact.
Back up, back up.
The Seattle Slam is one of the top-ranked wheelchair rugby teams in the country. But this tournament ended with a tough loss to the Portland Pounders.
1, 2, 3, Pounders!
Let's line up, let's go. Let's go.
For the Slam, it's time to go back to work on a sport that's a lot more than just a game.
Good job, man. I was a motocross racer. I was at an indoor track in Renton and got a bad buck off of a jump, landed on my head and broke my neck. So it was wild. It was like being a baby again, you know. I couldn't do anything for myself. I couldn't feed myself, couldn't dress myself. I was dependent on everybody. And ended up having to move home and just start everything over again.
Jeremy Hannaford coaches,
I'm gonna go in there, turn around, dump that ball to me.
And plays for the Slam with equal intensity.
Protect the ball, turn that way, turn that way, turn that way, turn that way.
He says his teammates are his brothers and sisters who've helped him build a life.
You know, you first come here and you think it's just sports, you know, and then you get to talking to other guys that are in the same situation, and then you start talking about, you know, have you ever traveled somewhere? How do you brush your teeth, you know? How do you throw your socks on? And it's just the simple things that most people take for granted. I've done so much more since I got hurt than I ever did before I got hurt, you know? I've traveled all over the country, different countries, met some of the coolest people I've ever met in my life, so just there's so much more to it than just the sport.
It's a concept he wants people with and without disabilities to understand.
What we try to do here is, even if you can't play our sport, we'll invite you to come out and get in a chair and practice with us and try it out, you know?
That's right. Come strap into a chair at the Southwest Community Center in West Seattle, like 12-year-old D'Amico and his friends did. Past the heavy breathing, you won't be able to keep a smile off your face either. And you might just learn something too.
When you do it, it's like you feel what they feel.
Yeah, I have a whole bunch of respect for them because they lost their legs and like they're still like active.
Whistle.
Some people don't think that they can play sports because they're disabled, but it don't matter.
Point made, says player Brian Moore.
At the end of the day, there's a lot more than any two people on the planet have in common, right, than we do that's separating us. And it's easy to just see those things, those little tiny differences that make me think, oh, this person's unapproachable, or they have something that I can't relate to. But the reality is, it's a small part of who I am, who everybody else is out here. It's just it's a little piece of life.
1, 2, 3.
You might not know,
more than 930,000 people in our state have a disability, and more than half are in between 21 and 64 years of age.
All right, guys, let's go to work.
But you should know there's a team of athletes out there with a strong message. They should never be overlooked.
It's life-changing, you know. You take a really bad situation and turn it into something that you never thought you could have. So now that sports and TV and all that is coming out where they're, you know, focusing on disabilities, you see that people with disabilities are just people. They're just in a different situation, you know. We're just doing it a different way.
Practices for the Seattle Slam are at the Southwest Community Center in West Seattle. They happen every Wednesday night from 6 to 9, and they're open to the public. And you can check out their tournament schedule at seattleslam.org. We'll be right back. And that wraps up this episode of CityStream. If you'd like to learn more about the big event coming to town, go to SpecialOlympicsUSAGames.org. I'm Dennis Bounds. Thanks for watching. To learn more about CityStream and the Seattle channel, find us on Facebook and Twitter. You can also watch us on our Comcast HD channel 321 and on Wave Cable channel 721.